What if I told you that some carbohydrates can actually help control blood sugar, improve gut health, support metabolism, and act like dietary fiber? That is exactly what resistant starch does. And today, I will explain the science behind it, how to increase it in your diet, and share practical eating tips you can use right away. Hi Healthy Buddies, I'm Dr. Tirta Wijaya. Welcome to my channel where we will talk about various health topics. And today, we will talk about resistant starch. There are many studies proving that refrigerating or freezing starchy food can turn some of the starch content of the food into resistant starch in a process called starch retrogradation. In the resistant starch, the disaggregated amylose and amylopectin chains in a gelatinized starch reassociate to form more ordered, stronger structure, making it difficult for our digestion system to break down, similar to dietary fiber. But it does not mean we can refrigerate our sweet sugary cakes to make it as healthy as vegetable. In order to understand resistant starch, let's start by learning about carbohydrates, sugar, dietary fiber, starches, and how our body processes them. Many of us heard that carbohydrate is bad for our blood sugar control and we need to limit our carbohydrate intake. And dietary fiber in fruits and vegetables, on the other hand, is good and we need to increase it in our diet. That is an oversimplification that many people are guilty of, including me. The truth is, fiber is carbohydrate. So, increasing fiber intake actually is increasing carbohydrate intake too. Carbohydrate is a compound of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in this formula. There are different types of carbohydrate. The most important ones are sugar, cellulose, and starches. Sugar is the sweet carbohydrate from both animal and plant origin. There are two types of sugar, monosaccharides and disaccharides. The prefix mono means one, di means two. These are simple sugars with one or two sugar units. Examples of monosaccharides are glucose, fructose, ribose. Examples of disaccharides are sucrose, maltose, lactose. Guess which one are from animal and write your answer in the comment below. This simple short-chain carbohydrate can be broken down by our body rather quickly. Our blood sugar level rise, then drop within short period of time after consuming this type of carbohydrate. Cellulose is the polysaccharide forming the main structural component of plant cell walls, providing rigidity and strength. It is also found in some algae and bacteria. Humans cannot digest it, but benefit from it as dietary fiber. Dietary fiber pass through our intestines, stimulating and aiding digestion. Fiber also regulates blood sugar, lower our cholesterol, and keep us feeling full longer, thus helping us to manage our body weight. Starch is the polysaccharides with coil and branch structure. It is the chief storage form of carbohydrates in plants that we consume as the source of energy, vitamins, and minerals. The coil structure is called amylose, while the branch structure is amylopectin. It takes our body longer time to break down longer chain of these polysaccharides into simple sugar. That is why our blood sugar level remains relatively stable after consuming it compared to simple sugars. While simple sugar is quickly and easily digested and cellulose is largely indigestible in humans, starch exists along a spectrum between these two with different forms that varies in how easily they are digested and how they affect blood sugar level. Now let's focus more on starches. Based on its digestion rate in the small intestine, starch is classified into three types: rapidly digestible starch, slowly digestible starch, and resistant starch. As the name implies, Rapidly digestible starch, or RDS for short, can be absorbed by our body quickly in less than 20 minutes in healthy adults. It is usually gelatinized amylopectin that is found in starchy food cooked at high temperature for a longer time. For example, highly cooked rice or porridge, potatoes, bread, ripe bananas, etc. Because it can be converted into glucose in short period of time, frequent or excessive consumption of rapidly digestible starch will make it difficult for us to control blood sugar level, leading to insulin resistance and diabetes in the long run, just like simple sugar does. Slowly digestible starch, or SDS, is more difficult to break down by digestive enzymes. It takes about 100 minutes to convert it to glucose, making it better tolerated for people with diabetes and obesity. Examples of slowly digestible starch are lightly cooked rice, pasta al dente, undercooked potatoes, and unripe bananas. You see here that the same food can be digested rapidly or slowly depending on the cooking methods. Resistant starch, or RS, is a type of carbohydrate that resists digestion in the small intestine and instead travels down to large intestine. There, it becomes fuel for our gut bacteria. They are fermented, just like fiber. This fermentation produces short-chain fatty acids such as butyrate, which support colon health and overall metabolism. There are 5 types of resistant starch. Type 1, or RS1, is starch trapped within plant cell wall, making it difficult to be digested naturally. For example, legumes, seeds, and whole grains. Type 2 is resistant granules with high amylose structure, such as raw potatoes and green bananas. Type 3 is the retrograded starch. It is produced by refrigerating cooked starchy food, such as in refrigerated rice or potatoes. Type 4 is chemically modified resistant starch through industrial processing. Type 5 is starch lipid complex, formed by heating and cooling starch with fats. What is the health benefits of resistant starch? The health benefits of resistant starch are: it improves blood sugar and insulin sensitivity. A high-quality systemic review of 19 clinical trials showed that resistant starch intake significantly reduced fasting glucose, insulin, and HbA1c levels in people with metabolic syndrome and related disorders. Additionally, another systemic review found that different types of resistant starch significantly lowered post-meal blood glucose and improved insulin response in people with prediabetes or diabetes type 2. Number 2, it supports gut and metabolic health. Longer-term human studies suggest that resistant starch increases production of beneficial metabolites like butyrate and can improve gut microbiota composition. While much of the mechanistic research is in animals, the evidence consistently supports improvements in insulin action, inflammation markers, and metabolic health outcomes. Then it may help with appetite and weight management. Resistant starch produces short-chain fatty acids that stimulate gut hormones involved in satiety or feeling full and appetite regulation, which may support weight management. Now, how to enjoy the health benefits of resistant starch? When we cook foods rich in digestible starch and then cool them in the refrigerator for several hours, ideally about 12 to 24 hours, a process called retrogradation occurs. This changes regular starch into type 3 resistant starch, making it less digestible and more beneficial for blood sugar control. Foods can be eaten cold or reheated gently without losing all the resistant starch. This simple method works on cooked starchy food, for example, rice. Uncooked rice is type 2 resistant starch. Cooking the rice will turn the resistant starch into digestible starch. Different types of cooked rice has different starch digestibility. Generally speaking, sticky, soft, and round Japanese rice can be digested rapidly, while non-sticky, stiff, and long basmati rice take longer time to digest due to higher amylose content. Brown rice sits at the middle between these two. After refrigerating, the rice with higher amylose content will have higher type 3 resistant starch compared to the sticky rice. So, you need to choose the variety of the rice accordingly. Other examples of food that can benefit from refrigeration after cooking are potatoes. They can be boiled or steamed, then chilled, and pasta, or barley and whole grain, as in whole grain salads, and oats, as overnight oats instead of hot oats. Please remember that different varieties of this food may have different amylose content, just like the rice. Another way to get resistant starch is by cooking the starchy food with fatty acids at temperature above 100 degrees Celsius, then cool it down to create type 5 resistant starch. There is a research suggesting a possible interaction between oleic acid and amylopectin-rich starch too, under certain conditions, leading to a higher content of type 5 resistant starch. Researchers show that resistant starch perform better when they are combined with protein or fat. So, enjoying your reheated rice with chicken or pasta with meatballs are not only more delectable, but also may offer you more health benefits. But remember, eat in moderation. We should not have our yummy food as much as we want just because they are healthier. Pay attention to the proportion too. The easiest way is the plating method, where we fill 25% of our plate with starchy food, 25% with protein, and the rest of the plate with sources of dietary fibers. Add fat, sugar, or salt sparingly, only if needed. For our 25% starchy food portion, we can consume, combine, or substitute with naturally resistant starch food like legumes like beans, lentils, chickpeas, whole grains like brown rice, barley, or sorghum, etc. This food doesn't need refrigeration to increase the resistant starch content because they are quite rich with it already. Some of you may ask, what about frozen marinated chicken? Major macronutrients in chicken is protein with a little bit of fat and zero carbohydrate. Refrigerating our chicken will not turn the digestible starch to resistant starch simply because there is none to begin with. Another question, is frozen French fries healthier than the fresh, never frozen fries? While frozen French fries may have more resistant starch compared to the fresh one, they have to be deep fried. This cooking process is notoriously unhealthy because of high fat, high calories nature. Frying in high temperature can form acrylamide too, a chemical compound that is categorized as a probable human carcinogen. Compounded with the fact that French fries are usually very well seasoned and contains a lot of sodium, I'm not comfortable to associate the word healthy with French fries, regardless the resistant starch content. I personally suggest steamed or boiled potatoes with sprinkles of seasoning as the healthier choice instead. To slow carbohydrate digestion even more, you may want to start your meals with dietary fiber first. Then followed with protein or fat, then the rest of the carbohydrate. Prioritizing the resistant starch, then slowly digested starch over the rapidly digested starch. Consume the refined carbohydrates and sugar at the very end of your meal, or just omit the added sugar altogether. Because resistant starch is fermented in our colon, starting with small portions is key, especially if we are new to it. Some people may experience gas or bloating initially, but this usually settles as the gut adapts. That is my sharing today about resistant starch. Please remember that nutrition is only one of 4 pillars in diabetes prevention and managing blood sugar levels. The other 3 are body weight management, adequate routine exercises, and sufficient sleep. I hope you found this information useful and can be a blessing. If you like this kind of information, please like and subscribe so you can continue to receive health information from me. If you have any health related questions or topics you want me to cover in my future videos, kindly type it in the comment section below. But please do not consult your personal health issue here. This is my disclaimer. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy and happy.